Hello and welcome. You join me here for parts 21 and 22 of Build the Terminator. And I hope I've conquered my sound. It's been plaguing me for months now, trying to find the right solution. So hopefully it's going to go alright. But if not, pretend I'm talking to you from under a duvet, because that's exactly what it sounded like in my last video. Very sorry about all the problems. I mean, the one thing you need to nail, I'm not too fussed about my video setup and my framing and stuff, but sound, you always have to get sound right, because then you can look away from the screen, it doesn't really matter, stuff like that. But I'm trying as hard as I can promise you that much. Anyway, let's see what's in 21. Okay, 21 is very exciting, and so is 22, but 21 is exciting due to the fact that we're putting on the top of the skull with the sides already on it. We're placing that over the top of the build so far. Also putting these little stoppers in to the sides of the jaw. That should be quite good. Looking forward to seeing them. Not so much looking forward to getting them out of the plastic housing there. And we're also working on something that we're not going to touch again for a little while, I guess. And more suggested cocktail sticks there for the glue. I'm not going to use a cocktail stick. That's just beyond faff for me. Maybe some of you don't mind using a cocktail stick, and well, good for you, I say. But for me, just going to squeeze it out of my squeezy glue there. So let's get started. Alright, the first super exciting thing I have to do is take this piece of metal and put these black pieces of plastic into it. You've got to glue around the edges of the pins on that side, and then basically stick it into there. And there's two of them, so one each side. I'm starting to think that in the offices of Hachette they're busy with a big dartboard, throwing darts in to decide which pieces are plastic and which pieces are going to be metal. Because I just can't call it. Some random pieces you think, why is that metal? And the other times you're thinking, why is that plastic? But anyway, let's get this done. Well, that was great fun. I don't quite understand why you have to glue around the edges of the plastic pins, because when are you ever going to need to put anything through the middle of them? Because that's covered now, and the only thing that's ever going to pass through is whatever's passing down through that main hole there. So why can't I just plaster glue all over the holes in the plastic pins? We are back dealing with the head, and you need to take these little pins, which I've just twisted off the housing in the end, and then shaved the little extra bits of plastic off the edges. And then you need to check the screw is tight. That's always a fun job. And then glue these into place. I'm guessing that it doesn't matter which of the 4 pins that you use. Okay, it says it's important to keep the recess free of glue. I'm guessing that's so that the screw can just poke through without any problem. It will fit flush, I'm guessing. So let me try and put these in. Obviously, there's one each side. Well, that was a bundle of laughs. This side looks a little bit better than that side. Maybe that side hasn't met the holes. I think it has. But anyway, they're in there. This side looks a bit dodgy, but then that's part of my organic look. I think this is seated a bit nicer than that side. So who knows? Either way, they're in there. And now I have to work with even more awkward bits. I have to put glue inside those 4 holes, which they're quite big, so that's not really awkward. But then I have to push these 4 little pins in, and I also have to make sure I get them in the right places, because 2 are smaller than the other 2. So let's see. Alright, luckily it's as simple as the bigger ones in the top two, and the smaller ones in the bottom two. So let me try and grapple with the glue once again and get those all fitted in. Apply a little adhesive? No, you need a lot, especially in the bottom ones, because otherwise they're going to rattle around in there. And it also said, once again, it's not our fault, it's you're the one that needs to do the work with regards to the holes. They said if they don't fit properly, then use a suitable fine file to make the holes a little larger. I don't know anything about filing holes in metal, thank you very much, but luckily every single pin went in very nicely, or every single pillar rather. Okay, we've reached a very exciting stage. We have to take the head, or what there is of the head, and then put the skull, top of the skull, over the top. The top of the skull over the top. I've such great command of grammar right now, haven't I? Anyway, you have to line up the holes underneath the smaller pillars, to the holes at the side of the head, right there. If it would focus, kindly? No. Okay, but anyway, that one there. And obviously the other side as well. And the wires have to all be poking out the back. I'm glad it actually told me that, because I was looking for a cue to come somewhere, and finally it's come as to where these should be. So poking out the back, there's a little gap for them there. I don't know if that's purposeful, but I'm going to try using it anyway. And then you have to screw those two holes with the skull in place. So let me go and do the first really exciting bit. Okay, it's on, and that brings us to the end of 21, and it's looking very exciting. Now, there is a big issue that I had. That was this side was not sitting flush, no matter what I did or tried to do. Could not get the bit of metal over the bit of plastic there. And I wish that this bit was metal as well, because when you're trying to push metal over plastic, dodgy things can happen. What it was, eventually, I found the answer on this really good site that this person is running by himself, I think. He's documenting his T800 building. He's even got a really good T800.com URL for himself. I can't remember what it is offhand, but I will link it in my description, because on that site I found that the solution is to loosen those 3 screws underneath the chin and wiggle it about basically until you can sit this flush. It works. So that's the solution if you get into trouble and you're building this. That will work out. So thank you very much to whoever that is that made that site, and like I say, I will link to where that site is, so that if you run into trouble, I would definitely recommend looking at that site, because he's done a very good build description so far. That being said, that's the end of 21, and now it's 22, and in this part you'll need this, and what you'll be doing with this is absolutely nothing. This is just the shoulder, as they call it. Not sure how that's a shoulder, but there you go. You won't be needing that at all. What you will need are these exciting bits. These are for the sides of the head by the jaw, I believe. And, my God, this camera's not even going to focus. The diddiest parts so far. I hope they don't actually get any smaller than this. No, it's not even going to focus, look. It's like it's like bacteria. Yeah, without the correct scientific microscope I can't really show you those accurately. But they're very tiny pins that you need to stick into these bits of plastic. You can imagine it's just as fun as it sounds. Okay, it's time for the heavy part, because we're taking this and we're taking this. They're calling this bit 22.5, this bit 22.2. I think I've managed to smooth them off nicely. I cracked open this craft knife that I haven't actually ever opened yet. I think I've got them mostly smooth. You need to put that bit onto there so it points upwards. Then I need to stick the pins into the hole, the microscopic pins. I've already checked that that hole is clear, and it is, because I can see right through to the paper through the hole, so obviously it's clear. So somehow I've got to drop a pin into there, and quite how it's going to stay in there I'm not entirely sure, but maybe it will. We'll see. Oh my god. Who in their right mind designed this? Who in their sane mind designed this? But anyway, it's in there now. And yes, the pin is flush with the plastic. Still moves about though. I guess that won't matter too much, because these are going to be glued onto the jaw, I believe. Let me go and see what's next. Alright, that is in there as a test fit. I've just got to glue the bottom bit, and it says just to glue the bottom bit. It doesn't say to glue those. So I hope that goes alright, and they don't need gluing. They're not going to somehow come out. Who knows? But let's give this a try. Okay, they're both in there now, both sides. There you go, there's the other one. Something not very fun that happened was this side of the LED that connects into the eyeball fell out. At this stage of the game, that is not a great thing to happen, because there's no access to push it back in properly from the back. So what I had to do was work something down the side and basically just ram it back into place. And I really hope it stays there. It's never been the most secure design, because you don't want to wedge it too hard into it in the first place, because you're thinking you're going to crack the circular housing of the eyeball. So you don't want to push it too hard, and then it just keeps falling out. Hopefully it's going to stay in there, because if it doesn't, I've got one screwed up, permanently disabled Terminator. But at least it'll have the right eye lit up, I think, as per the eye that lights up in the first Terminator film. The second Terminator film, even. I think that's the right eye. Left. No, that'd be the left eye. No, that would be the right eye. That one. Okay. Anyway, that being said, here's the last part. It's putting this on. This is something I've been gagging to do. I've already test fitted it, but it's a question of doing it all over again, except for the final time. It doesn't say glue it, so I'm not sure how it's staying in place, but it is. Just at a push. That's interesting. Okay. That, my friends, is looking amazing. But let's just hope this LED bulb stays in, because if it doesn't, well, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. Anyway, any suggestions would be welcome. But that takes us to the end of 22. So thank you very much for watching. Once again, I hope my sound goes okay this time. I feel like I should be talking into it. Maybe I should just employ someone to come here and hold a boom mic. Yeah, how about that? Is that the only thing that's going to work for me? But anyway, that's looking amazing now. I wish I could see it lit up already, but there you go. I could, technically, but I can't be bothered to connect it again. And I don't want to risk ripping that out and then that coming out again. That would not be fun. Anyway, thank you for watching and subscribing, and I will meet you back here next time.